I want to talk about this and just have a casual conversation because there are a lot of people who still don't believe in Solo. They're still saying that he's not intimidating and they just don't see the vision of him being, a world champion or being a big star in the WWE. So I want to talk about, why. Roman said Solo was going to be the next tribal chief, right? I don't think he would have said those words if there weren't big plans for him to begin with. Now, obviously, if you saw Solo in NXT when he was the Street Fighter, he doesn't do the same stuff or have the same gimmick that he did in NXT because when he came up to the main roster, they needed him to play a different role for the Bloodline, which was the Enforcer. I'm gonna break it down like this because this is how I've always saw it. What Solo was as the Enforcer, what he still kind of really is what Roman was like in the Shield. He was the muscle. He was the most dominating opposing threat in the group. Like, Roman didn't really talk much and cut promos in the Shield. Like, he would say little things here and there, but mainly his punchline was believe in the Shield. And Roman was just pretty much, the muscle in the group who just like to fight in the Shield. And he was pretty much, getting a lot of big wins for that group to establish his dominance. Solo was the guy as the Enforcer to protect Roman in the top spot to make sure that he stayed tribal chief. And for damn near almost 2 years, he was the one guy coming out using that Samoan spike to make sure that Roman Reigns stayed champion that long. And I don't understand the whole intimidating thing, how people don't see it, because they planted the little seeds within the bloodline. Like, sometimes the interactions that him and Roman would have, like when Roman would accidentally bump into Solo, you saw how Solo would look at him. Roman kind of would back off a little bit. When Roman would maybe say something a little bit disrespectful that Solo didn't like, he looking at Roman Reigns kind of crazy. Then Roman kind of, backtracks and gets away from that conversation. Like, they've planted little seeds where Roman Reigns knows how big of a threat Solo is, which is why he's never messed with him. Like, look at how he's treated everybody within the blood. Look how he treated Sami Zayn. Look how he treated Jay and Jimmy, even Paul Heyman sometimes. The one guy in the group that he never had that same energy for was Solo. Because from a storyline perspective, Roman Reigns knew that that's the one guy I can't mess with because that's the one guy that will never put up with it and the one guy that could possibly really take me down. And to me, he has an imposing threat look. He looks like somebody that could literally just take his bare hand and rip your eye out of a socket if he wanted to and eat it. Like, that's how I look at him. Like, I could see him taking your eye out and then eating it right in front of you like a madman. And with this new bloodline, the Bloodline 2.0 is what we're calling it, with Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, the Gorillas of Destiny, possibly also Hikuleo joining, or maybe even Jeka Fatu if they wanted to throw him in there. Like, Solo Sikoa, there are big plans for him, and now that he's starting to show a little bit more personality with the way he's been dressing and just the way he's approaching himself, like, as the leader now of the Bloodline, there's gonna be some big plans for him. I think some people are kind of getting it twisted, though, man. Like, Solo, just because he was losing a few matches here and there, or he maybe wasn't talking much or wasn't doing certain things or didn't have the most flashiest moveset, he didn't need to do any of that stuff because he played a certain role in the group they wanted him to play, and he did it better than anybody could have done. He was the enforcer. The enforcer to protect the tribal chief at all costs, which he did that. But now Roman isn't top dog anymore. He's not the champion anymore. So now Solo feels like because Roman isn't champion, he don't need to protect him anymore. Now, as of right now, we still don't know if Roman is tribal chief or not. Like, he hasn't been on TV since Mania, so we don't know exactly what kind of character Roman's going to be when he comes back and what it's going to be like when he comes back. But it's going to be very exciting when he does because now Solo is stepping up. Roman obviously was in that position, so they're going to collide and butt heads at some point. And they've been teasing that interaction for about almost 2 years now, where Solo was kind of looking at Roman Reigns, kind of looking at the Ulafala too, like, I want that, but okay, I'll wait my time until you lose. And now Roman has lost the title, so Solo's like, all right, he's not champ anymore. It's time for me to step up and be the tribal chief because I was told that was, my next position. So I don't see how some people don't see it within the storyline because it's been planted in the storyline for like 2 years now. Solo protecting Roman as the tribal chief and Roman having to cheat time and time again and Solo being the guy to help him and people just getting tired of it and saying that he can't win without any help. That's exactly how it was supposed to be. That was the whole concept of the story, which I had been saying for a while, but some people still just didn't accept it for what it was. But I'm like, yo, that's just how the story is. There's nothing y'all gonna do to change that. And since Roman Reigns said Solo was the next tribal chief, and Solo is, stepping up now because Roman's not champion, they've been teasing that interaction between those two for quite a while now, so it's bound to happen. Now, when Roman comes back, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what type of thing's going to happen, whether they have a match or what's going to happen, but they're going to collide and butt heads because when Roman comes back, I'm sure he's still going to say he's tribal chief. Solo's probably going to have a disagreement with that now. Like, no, you're not the tribal chief anymore. You were, but you're not champ anymore. I don't have to acknowledge you. It's my time now. So that interaction is coming, and that's been within the storyline they've been telling. I get some people may not like Solo, and they still may not see the vision of him being a top guy, but I think that's with a lot of superstars. Did people really see Roman Reigns being a top guy after the Shield broke up and they threw him in the main event of WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar? Because I know I didn't. I damn sure didn't believe he was a WrestleMania main event guy in 2015, going up against the most dangerous guy in the WWE who just ended the streak and then conquered John Cena, who was the face of the WWE for damn near a decade. And now you're just throwing Roman Reigns in there, who hasn't accomplished anything. No world titles, no mid-card titles, only a Royal Rumble win that the fans hated. And he was in this most dominant group, and I'm supposed to believe that he has a chance to beat Brock Lesnar. But over time, Roman Reigns started to make people believe that he was a main event guy. One, that WWE was really pushing him really hard in that spot, so you had no choice but to believe it and accept it. But, over time, Roman started to have that aura around him where he felt that like a main event guy, and you could, believe that he could beat a Brock Lesnar now or somebody dominant in that position as a top guy. Solo has an aura to him right now where he just has a dominant presence, to me at least. And if people honestly just don't see it or feel it, I personally don't see how. That's just me personally, but I definitely see it, and I can feel it when he comes out, too. Like, I just see the aura around him. They're just taking the little steps they need to make him feel like a main event guy, so when he matches up with these big caliber superstars, it feels right, and you believe that he can beat these guys. Those are the steps they've been taking to me for Solo for the last 2 years. And with this whole Bloodline storyline, y'all can go back and rewatch it. I think WWE put out a combination of the whole storyline from start to finish. So y'all can go back on the YouTube channel and look at everything they've done with the storyline to plant the seeds for these moments that I really think are going to happen. Like, when I said I think Solo could win Money in the Bank and beat Cody, that's not a bluff. I really could see that happening. That's not something that I'm just saying because I think, it's just a fantasy booking. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens because they've been, trying to build Solo up as a big star for a while now. And with Roman not being the champion anymore, I wouldn't be surprised if Solo becomes the guy to bring the title back into the bloodline and then he gets the push as the tribal chief. Not to the same extent that Roman did. But I honestly could see something like that happen. That's not me bluffing. I really honestly believe that could be the case. Now remember when Cody said Roman's empire was going to crumble around him eventually? That's going to start, I think, when he comes back. He's not the champion anymore. That's already strike one. Then he's going to have to apologize to Jimmy and Jade to get them back on his side so he can reunite the OG bloodline to go up against this new bloodline. I wouldn't be surprised if this new bloodline beats the OG bloodline to establish them more. And then if Solo becomes champ and B's the one to beat Cody to bring back the title into the bloodline, and now he becomes the guy, the tribal chief. That's all the establishment right there that has been said within the storyline of Roman was the guy, but eventually whoever the guy is has to come down because the new guy is always going to step up. And that new guy, I think, is going to be Solo within the family because he's a part of it.